It's Friday. I didn't scream that because we're in the paint room, but it's Friday. Also, Jolene looked it up this morning. It's 485 days of straight content. 485 days of straight content. When it becomes 500 days or 501 days, we're not sure yet. We are going to take a break. We are going to take a break. So make sure you get your fill of Bad Chad and Queen Jolene. Make sure you get your fill. What I mean by that is watch some episodes, rewatch them, watch them again, show your friends, whatever. But we're going to be taking a break. Yes, we are. Don't know how long we're going to take a break for, but we are going to take a break, and I'm excited. But right now, at the present moment, we are in the paint room with the stuff that I painted yesterday. What I'm going to say about it is that the paint is very nice and flat. I put lots of paint on. I put it in high pressure. I always spray it high pressure. Both panels, I have looked them over, and there's no issues with the straightness. There's no issues, and basically that's some of the things that I want to know when I paint it. I want to know what it's going to look like with nice wet paint on it, and now I know what it looks like with nice wet paint on it. But when I come in and painted them, I come in with an old paint gun, and I didn't use a new paint gun. I just come in and sprayed them. I put the paint right to them, and the reason being is I knew, or I thought I knew, that I was going to repaint them again, and I am going to repaint them again. Because of the fact that I have dirt in them. There's dirt in these. And also I feel like I wanted to do it when I paint the car. I want to paint it all as one car, or tape it off and paint all the Hiltz Auto Co at one time, all the white at one time and all the black at one time, just so the paint matches and everything. And I think we do have a good match, like my face and my arse. It's not that they look alike, it's that they belong together. That's about basically it. But basically what I'm actually doing, if you do base clear paint jobs, and you're trying to do a fantastic job, you put your base on and you wait. You go in and take a look at it, you tack rag it, you'll even have a piece of 800, 1000 sandpaper to sand off any nibs before you paint it. Them paint jobs don't take what we film, an hour, half hour yesterday. They don't take a half hour, they take all day. And basically what I want to do is I want to get some paint on these things so I can have paint on them to protect them and see what they look like in shiny paint, so when it comes time when I paint them, they look good. But basically what I'm doing is I'm painting them, and I'm doing the exact same thing that you do with your base clear, but I'm doing it with shiny paint. So I've waited a day, I've come in and sprayed them. Now I'm going to come in and sand and take the dirt out of them. I'm not going to do it all right now, but I'm going to show you how the hardener I use seems to work really nice, because it just seems to work nice. I use the clear coat hardener with the urethane to make it a little bit harder. I've sanded a little bit right here. I need a piece of sandpaper. I just grabbed an old piece of sandpaper and sanded it right there just to go for it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go get a piece of sandpaper. We're going to sand some dirt out of the hood, and you're going to see how I'm going to do it. And I'm going to take and use a 400. I'm going to just sand it down so it's a nice orangey color like that. I have nothing that I have to fix. I'm just taking the dirt off it. So basically what I'm doing is I'm using it as the base. I'm using it as base, but a lot cheaper. Maybe a little bit more work, but you must realize when I come in and spray another coat on this, I will have something that I'll be able to wash off very clean. The primer's not holding as much dirt as this paint is, that's for sure. Also, I will know that everything is fantastic. When you base clear something, you're base clearing, then you're finding out in the end. I'm finding out before I put the clear coat on it, because I've got shiny paint telling me what's going on. But now I'm going to come in and take the dirt out of it before I put the last coat on it. And I'm going to get a piece of 400 and show you how I take it out and how easy it is. And basically I probably will do this to every panel of the car to get a good job. Probably. Not? Yeah, probably. And basically what I want to do is I want to make sure that I get paint on everything. And I think that's the way for me to go. That's the way I'm going on this one. I want to do a nice job on it. I got many hours put into it, many hours, and why not do the best job I can? When I spray the inside of the doors and all that stuff, I want to take the doors off and spray them. I probably won't be spraying the inside twice, but I'll be spraying the outside twice. I'll be using it doing it like a base clear, like exact same thing as doing the base and going in and taking your nibs out of the paint. But I am using urethane. I am using the cheaper paint. Yes, I am. I'm using the cheaper paint. I'm using the urethane, and I feel that I'm getting a thicker base than using base. Also, when I put my urethane on this, if I want to buff anything, I haven't only got 3 coats on it. I'll have 5 or 6 coats on it. And basically that's what you do when you want to do a real good paint job. You put more on than you need because you know that you're going to sand and buff. So basically what's going on here, if you want to come over, Jolene, let's take a look at it. If you can get in here closely, maybe you want to have to come over this way or something. Can you see the dirt in that? Mm-hmm. See some dirt in that? Excuse me, basically. That's what's going on. So basically what I'm doing is I'm just going to take that dirt out very easy. I'm not going to sand and make a fool of myself. I'm just going to go very easy and take the dirt out. So when I paint this panel again, I have got the perfect surface. And I know I'll have the perfect coverage because that I've got the urethane paint on it now. I've got probably 3 to 4 good coats on this, not gumming up on the paper, just painted it yesterday. Got a new fan. I'm just kind of brushing off. Should have a rag. I could wet sand this. I could. I just find that it's hard to tell what you're doing when you're wet sanding something. And you can see around the dirt, you can see the shiny area around the dirt. I don't know if you can see it or not. Can you see it or not? If you come this way, you see the shiny area around the dirt? There it is right there. There's a piece of dirt right there. You can see the shiny area around that, so I'm just sanding that down to make sure there's none of that, to make sure it's polished off smooth. And it's a very simple matter, just going lightly. And also, it's kind of, I'm foolproofing the paint job. Everything will be covered. There'll be no scratches in it. We'll be starting with a nice, we know that we'll be starting with a nice paint job because we already have a nice paint job. You know, we're just taking a little bit of dirt out of it, scratch it up, and you can go finer paper than this if you want to. You know, I don't feel like I have to block it. I'm just kind of knocking the nibs out of it, just going lightly so the paint will stick. I really don't feel I have to block it because I'm not going through the paint anywheres. I'm just sanding some paint off it, taking the dirt out of it. Basically all I'm doing. Let's move back some. And you can see how nice the paint is sanding. No gummies. Just wiping off my pants, no gummies. Should have a rag. When I wash this down next time, should be ready to rock and roll and do a nice paint job. And I will even sand down the trunk lid. I probably will sand it down, all of it, and put one good coat on. You could even clear coat this if you wanted to. Don't think I'm going to, but you never know. I say a lot of things, and sometimes I change my mind and do something different. I do all the time. And I probably won't do the whole hood right now. I'll probably just set it aside. We're just doing this for me and you to show you exactly what I'm up to. You basically, like I said, you basically could scrub it off and clear coat it and you'd be fine. Once the clear coat goes over top, that'd be the exact same thing. 485 days of everyday content. What do you think of that? I'm doing just like Jim said, doing it with the weight of my hand, kind of scrubbing back and forth, not doing any of this, just scrubbing back and forth, just knocking the top of the paint off, taking any. You can notice how quickly I'm sanding that, and there is no. Jolene said it best. There's no orange peel. I'm not sanding and sanding and sanding to knock it down. I'm not taking any texture out of it. I'm taking the dirt out of it. And you can see how fast that knocks down smooth when you lay your paint on with high pressure. You know, you can see a piece of dirt right here. See that? Mm-hmm. All I'm doing is taking that down so that the shininess is not around it. Just kind of buffing it off easy. Not trying to make it anything it's not. Just trying to take it all off so it's nice and smooth. So when we hit it again, we've had no issues. Everything is nice and straight, shiny, smooth, flat, and got orange paint on it, basically. That's what I'm looking for. Smooth, just like Jolene. Smooth. We'll do this side. See what it looks like. Kind of buffing it off. Piece of dirt right there, you can see. See how it's, tell when it's sanded or not. It's going on top of it there now. And you would know if there's texture because you would see it while I'm sanding it. See the dirt there? You see around the dirt? See little spots of dirt around there? Just knocking the heads off it to make sure that it's nice and smooth. So when I throw another coat of paint on this thing, and what I'll do is I'll Windex it again, and I'll make sure that it's clean. I'm saying that this will be a little bit cleaner than having all that sanding dust and all that blocking that I did. This hood, we did a 80 grit. I guide coated it, and we did a 220 grit, and then we guide coated again, then we did a 400 grit. So there was a lot of sanding that went on this hood, and there's a lot of sanding that went on this hood. So it was hard. You must admit it's hard. It would be hard to get all that sanding dust out of that primer. So I'm doing the exact same thing as if you would do a base clear job. If I come in and base it and I got some dirt in the base, well then you come in with your sandpaper and you knock it out before you put your clear coat in. It just takes longer, that's all. It just takes longer. And for Nason's, the paint that I'm using, I have to give it hats off because this is the day after I painted it. I haven't waited any big long amount of time. Just, you know, just the next day. And I'm able to sand that off just like nothing with the weight of my hand. Jim was saying that his paint seemed to be soft. I'm not sure what kind of paint he used. I don't think he used Nason's. I think he's a different brand. But I've used Nason's. I'm not trying to straighten this panel out at all. This panel looks absolutely gorgeous. No issues with it whatsoever. I'm quickly using a 400. And before I paint it again, I might go over it with a 600. Who knows? Who knows? And I can give it a little more time. It's just that we painted it yesterday. I just wanted to put the proof in the pudding, that's all. That the paint seems to be good paint, and what I'm going to do to get the job that I'm going to get done. So basically what I'm doing is I'm coming in here, I'm throwing some paint on it. Didn't really care a whole lot. I did care somewhat that I got dirt in it, but let's face it, I knew I was sanding it down anyways, trying to prepare myself. And your wet paper probably would have been, you know, really nice paper to use. I just wanted to use the dry to prove the point, to see what's going on here. It's Friday. It's Friday. I'm going to sand this corner, finish her off. So don't get too upset if you paint your car and you have a little bit of dirt in it. Just take your time, sand it back off, and wipe it down good, clean her up. The main thing is the texture, you know, like Jim said. You know, you sand for hours to get the texture out of it. The main thing is the texture. So if I'm just going easy, trying to take the dirt out, the nibs out of it, I have no texture to worry about. I'm worrying about the dirt. And basically what I'm trying to do is just knock it off. So when I throw my next couple coats of urethane on, it'll be fine. So that's basically what I'm doing. I could actually take and run the buffer over that and buff that back up and use a different sandpaper. But I'm wanting to paint every piece, get paint on everything, and then paint it all with, like, I've got some paint one time, and then I got a gallon another time. And we all know that sometimes when you buy different paint at different times, sometimes it's a different color. I'm thinking that this is fine, the color that it is, I'm thinking that it's just fine, but I want to make sure I get paint on all the edges. I want to make sure if I want to cut and buff it, I have enough paint on it. We've got 3 coats on that. I think I put an extra one on this, just on the top. But if you're going to cut and buff something, you want to put that extra material on there to give yourself allowance. If I go and sand this and put in all the work, and then all of a sudden I go through on an edge because I didn't have enough paint on it, it's not a good day because it has to be painted all over again. So I've already set in my brain that I am willing to paint it all over again, set it on the car and tape it all off at one. Another thing too, I'd rather have it on the car when it's painted the next time, because it's on the car and there's no chance of scratching it. I'll just do a good job taking it off. And we both know there's no possible way to paint the underneath the car and get all that underneath there done without taking the hood off. So to me, it's the perfect time to paint it all. Paint all the pieces, put it back together. If there's any scratches, then I can fix it. And then we can tape it off all as one car, spray it all as one car, all done. Pull it out, no worries, no putting the fenders on after, no putting the hood on after, no putting the trunk lid on after. I'm going to skip them steps by doing what I'm doing. That's what I'm going to try to do. And I really feel that it's a smart thing to do for a car that you're putting back together. It takes time to put cars back together by yourself or even with somebody else. When you start putting a car back together and you got hoods and trunk lids and that sort of stuff, not always they go back together the way you want it to. Things seem to grow and things seem to get out of place. But basically that's what I'm doing right there. Or that's what I've done. I just took and put some 400 on that, sanded that off real quick. And I will probably do the trunk lid I will do the trunk lid. I'll do the trunk lid that way. I'll do the doors that way. Like I said, I keep repeating myself, I know. But that's the way I do it sometimes. Just to make sure that I know what's going on. Not trying to straighten anything out because I know the panels are absolutely beautiful. You can see for your own self that I am not spending all day sanding out texture. No, I'm not. Just knocking the heads of it off, taking a little bit of dirt off the hood. Basically, that's all I'm doing. And yeah, Jolene looks amazing today, like as always. You know, that's the proof in the pudding. That's the way it is. Jolene looks amazing today. The trunk load looks amazing. There's no problems with it. And if you do it this way, you get to see what it looks like. And the second time around, I get a chance to put on a little nicer coat of paint, take a little bit more time. Take that off. And also, when I put it back together, if I have any issues, I will fix it before I paint it. But I'm very happy with both of them. I'll get to set these things aside. I know they both got paint on them. I can put them both back on, not worrying about it. And that's the way I'm going to do it. That's the way I'm going to do it. Not everything that way, but probably the top of the car, the doors, and that sort of stuff. We'll put lots of paint on. And that way there, if I decide to cut and buff it, I want to make sure that I get no texture, less dirt, make a quicker job. Probably won't do it anyways. Got a fan to put in, but the fan, it's blowing outside again. Our patients are being tried in Nova Scotia. Yes, they are. Our patients are being tried. Alrighty, let's go on out there. That's what I'm going to do. You could sit and watch me sand a hood all day if you wanted to, but I probably don't think you want to. But everything looks good. I got a fan to put in. You come back tomorrow, and I got the bumper ripped off the car. You come back tomorrow, and I got some things I have to do to the bumper, and I'll explain how I applied it to the car and how I'm going to apply it back to the car, and I'll explain what I'm doing to it, and then we're going to ship it off to get chromed. When we ship it off to get it chromed, I think they'll come right to the dooryard and pick it up, and we'll go from there. But you come back tomorrow, and that's what we'll be doing. We'll be smoothing off a bumper. We're not only making louvers underneath and making shaker hoods and sanding paint, we are modifying bumpers. Wow. We're doing her all, man. We're doing her all. We're just going for it. We're just having fun is all we're doing. We got the dash in there looking nice. Jolene looks dashing. Jolene looks dashing. We got the dash in there. That looks awesome. That was a little bit of motivation to put that in there. We deleted the radio on it, the heater and all that stuff, the key switch, light switch, all that. We kind of deleted that. Also, the big firewall down below kind of disappears once the dash is in it. Once I get that blacked out, it'll disappear. You won't notice that so much because the engine's back in the car so far. I'm thinking that the car is going to handle probably a little bit better because the engine's back inside the car a little bit. Also, I'm not sure if we're going to make a console or what we're going to do for a console, but something's going on there. Yeah, it's Friday. Jolene helped me clean up the shop last night. It does not look like it, but we had quite a mess going on. But we got the top of the cooler cleaned off. We got the back here. We've got so much snow out back. Like this is our garbage, and we can't open the doors to throw the garbage out. We can throw it out the front door and carry it down through 2 feet of snow. We can, and set it side the road and hope the crows don't get it. We can. But it's not something that we need to do, but we can't even get our garbage outside the doors. It's a trying time here in Nova Scotia. And all it's doing is making us a little bit grateful for what we have. That's all it's doing. So the bumper's off. That come off nicely this morning. Jolene helped me take the bumper off the car. It's pretty basic how I put it on there, and I'll show you tomorrow, no doubt in my mind. The paint went well. The paint went well. I can't say nothing about it. I'm kind of, what can I say? Jolene said it best last night. You have no fear. And basically I have no fear when it comes to that sort of stuff because I set myself up to, say that I am sanding that down and I'm going to respray it. And you know just as well as I know, sometimes when you do not care or you expect or don't expect things to turn out, it does turn out really good. Go on out, Fina. Fina likes to bite the snow when she goes out. Let's give away a hat or a shirt. Let's do it. So we're using the most reasonable paint that you can buy, I'm pretty sure. We're using Nason's. It's the most reasonable paint you can buy. We're using a clear coat hardener with our urethane, and I'm saying 3/4 of urethane paint is clear coat anyways. It's just that you have your paint right in with your clear coat. As I sand that down, you could clear coat it if you want to. You could if you want to. Yeah, you could if you want to. But basically, I'm doing the exact same thing as if I was doing a base clear paint job and I got dirt in it, and I went in and I sanded it off before I put the clear coat in it. Basically, that's all I'm doing. But I'm going to be able to handle it and put it back on the car before I, with the paint on it. With base on it, you probably wouldn't want to do that, just because. Lindy Stevens?
Yep.
Is it Lindy?
I think so.
Lindy Stevens, you want a hat or a shirt of your choice because you took in your time and wrote in a comment. It's Friday. It's the day to go home and get a goal, get a plan on what you're going to do to your ride. That's what it is. It's Friday when you come home. You got your ride sitting in your shop, in your garage, outdoors, side the road, wherever it's at, your friend's place, wherever. Today's the day to set the goals, what you want to get done for the weekend, and try to get it done. Doesn't matter if it's sanding the hood off, to getting the bumper in place, to fixing the wire underneath the dash, to whatever you got to do. Just put a goal on yourself and just go for it. You know what I mean? And once you get that goal done, you'll feel happy about yourself because you have met your expectations. And you know what expectations does? It leads to disappointment. But if you get that goal done, you'll be very happy. Great one, Chad and Jolene. Keep it up. This car is going to be amazing. You know what? I hope that it is amazing too. I really do. I'm going to do the best job I can, as quick as I can, I guess. If you don't realize, we're building it with you. Everything we do, we try to show you exactly what's going on. Yesterday, there was a comment of something about we were going to give away a car when we hit 100,000 subscribers. Well, you know what? I did say that, and I thought it might have been addressed already. But if it has not been addressed, the problem with us giving away a car, because we thought about it and we've done it 3 times. We've given away a car here at the Rockabilly Car Show the last 3 years that we had it. And the problem is there's so many people watching the page from so many different places that it would be an issue if someone won it that was in a distance. If you won it, if you were in the UK, if you were in Australia, if you were anywhere, you have to buy your plane ticket. You would have to get here and pay the taxes on it. You would have to get it home. And really, to be honest with you, that would not be fair. That would not be fair to someone that had won something that could not spend the money to come and get it. Also, Jolene looked it up for, what's the other thing? A lottery license. We would not want to get in trouble with promoting and profiting off of something on the computer and not having a lottery license. You can imagine if somebody won it even in California. Well, are they going to spend $2,000 for a plane ticket and $10,000 to get it tracked home? It didn't make sense. So we kind of just forgot about it because it was not in the books. It was not in the books. So if someone's upset that I'm not building a car to give away, and the only reason we're not doing that is because of common sense. It was something that I said that was not practical and it wasn't practical. And I did not want to cause myself and Jolene a bunch of headaches over something that we've done in the past that has worked. Like when we have a car show here and there's a bunch of people here and the person is here that wins it, no problem. Especially when we give a car away when it has no papers. They take it home, they do what they want to do with it, and that's it. When we're on the internet, we have to realize there's a lot of people all over the world that could have a chance to win that bad boy. And I hope that answers the question that's why we're not doing it. That's why we're not doing it. But like I said, I made something here about having a couple young people here come to build a car and do for a car show. I am thinking of things how to go forward. I'm thinking things how to go forward. And if it happens that I can get a couple young people here and some, maybe an older person or whatever, a couple people here to build a car to take to a car show, that would be great. Set in stone, not saying that. because of the single fact is because we're not there yet. I'm spitballing ideas full time, something that I'd like to do, and it is what it is. If it happens, it happens. If it don't, it don't. So the people that, feel like, oh, you said you're going to give away a car. Well, yeah, I did. But common sense set in, and told me that that's not realistic. So I just want to bring that to attention, just so we know that I'm telling the truth. Have a good one, everybody today. Have a good one. It's Friday. Have a good one. Go make a goal and go get her done. Have a good one.